tender, hot and spicy, with a steamy look. It was passed on down by my mother, sweet. She told me, honey, this will be a real good treat, to turn a man's heart into a buttercream. Well, you cook a dish that makes him want jump and scream. So come into my kitchen,
Come into my kitchen.
come on down to my kitchen.
Come on down to my kitchen.
I said, come into my kitchen.
Come into my kitchen.
Come on down to my kitchen.
Okay, so today we're going to do two things in one. One is we're just going to make some simple fried rice, and we'll talk a little bit about making fried rice, but we're also going to do a MSG test. So typically the last thing I'll throw on to some fried rice would be some MSG. We've got it right here, some nice crystallized MSG. Looks kind of like salt, although the crystals are kind of long and tubular looking. Anyway, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the rice, then we're going to put some into some serving bowls, and then we'll add the MSG to the remaining rice, put some more into a serving bowl, and then Chris and I will do a blind taste test to see if we can even tell the difference between the two bowls of rice, one with and without. So let's get this thing turned up. So again, like anything wok, cooking, stir fry, we want to get a hot wok. So I've just turned up the heat, get this thing smoking hot. And then I've got today just simply some carrot, onion, green pepper, and some Chinese chives, and some eggs. And we're just going to make a simple fried rice out of that. And that's the order in which I'll cook these things. So like anything, I'm going to put the things in first that need to cook the longest. It's going to be the carrots and then the onions. The green peppers and the chives will go very quick, and then of course the eggs will go even faster than that. So we want to get this thing hot. I can see it starting to smoke, so I'm ready to go here. And otherwise, when you're making fried rice, I think the other key is making sure you're using leftover rice. So if you've made some rice and then stick it in the fridge overnight. In fact, sometimes I even put the rice into the refrigerator in the pot that it cooked in my rice cooker with the lid on, but I know it's not airtight, and as a result, the cool air in the fridge actually dries out the rice even more, which makes it even easier to use in fried rice. So there we go. Now we've got some smoke. Hopefully we don't set off Chris's smoke alarm. All right, so we get those going. Add some onion. What else do you like to put in your fried rice, Chris? Chris is behind the camera there.
Some peppers.
Some peppers, but besides what we got today, are there other things that you usually add into your fried rice?
Shrimp is one of my favorites.
Shrimp, yeah.
But that would add some extra umami that we don't want for the experiment.
For today's test, yeah.
Right. We'll keep it basic.
Right. Oftentimes when I'm making fried rice, it's simply because I have leftover rice and I have some leftover stir fry of who knows what from yesterday. And it simply becomes what goes into today's fried rice. But sometimes I'll make fried rice specifically because then I have in mind I'm going to make fried rice, and so I actually prep fresh veggies like this, mix them together, and so on and so forth. So in goes the chives. If you don't have chives, you can always just use scallions, but I happened to visit the Asian market the other day, and they had some Chinese chives, so I picked them up. All right. And then the last thing I'm going to add in here before the rice is going to be the egg. I'm going to kind of clear a little bit of the middle out here to pour the egg in. But for the most part, the egg is just going to kind of get stirred in and almost kind of omelet-like in here. But let's get the egg in there. There we go. That's cooking up. And then, even before this dries out, because I know the rice is going to surface, and I'm going to throw the rice in. I already took some chopsticks to this rice just to kind of break it up a little bit, but basically when you add in your rice, you can use your spatula or whatever just to kind of break up the clumps You know, I think that's one of those things you see people always wanting. They say, you know, that fried rice I got from the restaurant is so well separated. The rice isn't stuck together, and so this is the stage where if you see some clumps, just go ahead and pop them down with, you know, the flat of the spatula, or if you've got something else. It's starting to get warm here. Looking pretty good. So the only other things we're going to really add to this, besides of course the MSG at the very end, is a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of sesame oil. And otherwise, that's about it. You know, we don't want to overdress this fried rice and sauce it up, because then it's not going to have that kind of nice, fluffy, dry kernels. So anyway, let's start with this. I'm going to just not a ton of soy sauce. Of course, everyone does this slightly differently. I'm curious, Chris, if I'm basically doing what you do, or you do this slightly differently. There's always lots of ways, and there isn't really a right and a wrong.
You've pretty much done what I do.
All right, and I'm going to turn off the heat, and then a little bit of sesame. Again, the sesame oil really is more of a fragrance than it is a flavor, and it's not an oil that you usually cook with, which is why I typically turn the heat off, just to make sure I don't drip it onto the hot wok and have it smoke and sizzle and burn, because I just want the aroma in there. So there we go. So there's some basic fried rice, and I'm going to take 2 bowls worth here. Just set these aside. These are our non-MSG bowls of rice. And then, here we go. I'm gonna, it's kind of Uncle Roger style. We'll try not to be stingy. That's probably only, it was probably maybe a little over a half a teaspoon. Not a ton. I mean, just like salt, you wouldn't put a ton of salt in this either. Just kind of mix that around. And there's our completed fried rice. And then we're going to do a quick little taste test here, blind taste test, and find out how well we did. We may discover that we can't tell the difference, in which case maybe I'll stop buying this stuff, but I doubt it. At least I doubt I'll stop buying it even if I can't tell the difference. All right, so you can grab some chopsticks.
I have to not look.
And see, not look, and then just remember, everybody, these 2 over here have the MSG, these 2 do not. So I'm gonna do. Chris, why don't you try this one first?
Very tasty. Hot. Carrots are still crispy.
And that one.
Oh, the second one has something extra.
All right, so you thought the second one had a little bit more oomph. All right, so.
Okay.
All right. Which one is which? All right. It's nerve-wracking. afraid to get it quote unquote
Gotta
wrong.
get it right, man.
I need to try this one again. All right, I think I have my suspicion. I'm gonna go with the first one. I think is the one with the MSG, because I think it had something more.
That umami.
Was it? Did I get it right?
You did.
And you were correct as well. You picked the one with the MSG as well.
Dang.
So here we go.
Well, looks like MSG is.
Yeah, so I guess it is noticeable even in just simply a bowl of fried rice. So there you go. So that's one, how to make fried rice, and I guess the key there was that last thing, which was throwing a little sprinkle of this magic white dust that we call MSG. Really does make a flavor difference.
Right? And you didn't have to add that much.
No, it really, and in fact, I think that's the key is you don't want to overwhelm the thing. So, in fact, you might use a little bit less of it than you would if you were thinking about salting something. Right, so if a recipe, normally you might throw in a teaspoon of salt, you might end up throwing in a half to 3/4 of a teaspoon. The other end of that is that you are also eating less sodium, right? Because there's only one sodium ion, so to speak.
Mono.
It's mono, there you go. There's just the one. All right, until next time. See you
All right.
later.
That's amazing.
Come into my kitchen. Come on down to my kitchen. Won't you come into my kitchen and now